These mindset shifts might sound simple, but when truly not just applied, but embodied into you, the shifts are so powerful. And not everyone wants to do this work. Not everyone wants to change their mindset. But I find that the people that have these big dreams, they have these big goals, they do. So if that's you, stick around. We're back with another episode of Sip and Sweep. It's not Sip and Sweep. Welcome back to another episode of Sip and Sweet. Let's get into it. But before we do, we've got to discuss what we're sipping and what we're sweeting. Sweeting? I don't know. The sip. Today, we've got a different style of mug today, and that means... Does anyone else feel like this about mugs? My mum does. Have I met anyone else? Let me know certain mugs for certain drinks, if that's you. If that's you, let me know in the comments. Anyway, this is what I would call a thin rimmed mug. Now, thin rimmed mugs are for your fruit teas. That I will not be drinking an English breakfast tea out of a thin rimmed mug. No. You know what, let's talk about the mug whilst we're on it, because this mug in particular is quite simply stunning. It is a Pisces mug. My sun is in Pisces, it's got the dreamer. And what's inside the mug, I hear you ask, is a raspberry and echinacea tea. These teas are really good if you have a bit of a sore throat, or you're just feeling like a bit not great in this area. I just really fancy this flavour today. Oh, you know what, that is actually perfect drinking temperature. Then, for our sweet, I've just had dinner, so I'm feeling a little bit full. This is our sweet today. This couldn't look any more unappetizing if it tried, but I just wanted a little dish to put it in. Just got a little bit of chocolate, because I love chocolate. This is Dairy Milk Marvelous Creations. It is my favourite of the Dairy Milk chocolates. Am I going to say that? Yeah. But I would say Dairy Milk is my favourite chocolate. It's obviously it's standard. I will say Dairy Milk in England compared to Dairy Milk in Australia tastes completely different. Anyway, should we get into today's topic? Last episode we touched on inner work. There are many topics under this umbrella that I could cover, and think of today as just a bit like we're dipping our toe in the water. We're not going to get too deep, but maybe we will, because let's face it, it's me. So today we are talking simple mindset shifts. This list is compiled of things that I feel you can notice when you're thinking, when you're saying out loud. It's not too complicated, and we're just shifting the other way. However, we'll touch on this now, we'll get into it more in the video. Inner work, mindset work is not just a I've thought this once tick. Level up. It is continuous. It can require you to really do the deep work and face things that a lot of people don't want to face. These mindset shifts might sound simple, but when truly not just applied but embodied into you, the shifts are so powerful. And not everyone wants to do this work. Not everyone wants to change their mindset, but I find that the people that have these big dreams, they have these big goals, they do. So if that's you, stick around. As a performer, some of these mindset shifts have really helped me with things like rejection, but even in a personal sense, rejection in the sense of not being with someone that I wanted to be with, not getting a house that I would like to live in. As always, the chapters for the video are below, so if there's one thing in particular that really speaks out to you, feel free to click ahead, but I of course would love you to listen to the whole video. So grab your sip, grab your sweet, let's get into it. The first shift we're going to talk about is I have to I get to. Now, even when you say those words or you're just listening to me saying them, I have to, it feels heavy. It feels like, oh, I have to, I don't really want to, I can't be bothered, you know, mopey. It energetically feels lower. Whereas when you say I get to, Already the intonation in my voice, it's excitement. It's, I get to do this, there's an opportunity. Now this can be applied to so many areas of your life, whether it be everyday activities to big life events. For example, I have to go to the supermarket and do my weekly food shop. Shift it to, I get to go to the supermarket to buy food so I can feel nourished throughout the week, so I can cook if you enjoy cooking. Although, side note, I actually have been giving cooking a lot more of a go. I have recently made tzatziki, although my mum actually said, why did you post that picture online, because it looks grey. Didn't look grey in person. It was really nice. What else did I made? I made the cookies of last episode. I also made dinner this evening. I'll put a picture here. That, oh, it's so good, so delicious. Anyway, this is definitely a mindset shift that really took me a long time to notice, first and foremost, because with all of these, when we're making the shifts, noticing and being aware is always the first step. Being aware of what you're actually thinking, and that is a skill in itself that takes time to develop. If you have never been aware of what you're thinking in your brain and you've never even noticed, this takes some time. To be fair, with all of these, I still catch myself out sometimes and I go, it's very quick to switch now. Whereas if this is new to you, it might take you a bit longer, and that's okay. Notice, whether it's through when you're thinking or simply writing down, are you saying, I have to do this today? And see how you can switch it. See how that very quickly can shift your mood, shift your energy, shift how your day is going. This is happening to me, to this is happening for me. As always, I haven't said it yet, so we need to say it once this video, but this could be a whole video in itself. And has definitely been something that I've been on a journey with, because it's one thing to shift the sentence in your mind, but if your actions are still reflecting that things are happening to you, that's a whole different shift together. And you know what? I said that we're touching the surface, we're dipping the toe in the water. That is really deep sea diving. So we'll leave that for today. In life, things go wrong. We make mistakes, things don't go our way, things feel like a failure. And the thing is, when you fail, the question to ask yourself is, have you really failed? Because from that thing that could be perceived as a negative, flip it on its head and think, okay, well, how could this be a positive? So for example, if you're going through a difficult situation at the minute, it's, how can I use this as an opportunity to grow? How can I use this as a gift of a lesson that is going to take me to the next step? Because quite often when you have these big goals and dreams, that there's a lot of levels to get to them. You know, there's a lot of, is it runs up a ladder? Steps, let's just use the word steps. There's a lot of steps up the ladder, and we can so often want to jump straight up to step 10. But sometimes there's something on step 5 that is so important to learn so you can get to step 12. And if you just skip it and you go to step 10, you're not going to learn that important thing. And again, you can apply this to bigger things that are happening in your life, but also everyday things. Say that you're stuck in traffic and you're like, oh, this traffic jam would only happen to me. I'm always stuck in traffic. Instead, being stuck in traffic, this is a chance for me to sit in my own space. Maybe we'll do a bit of brainstorming. Maybe I'm enjoying listening to my music. Maybe I'm enjoying a podcast. You know, see how even in the way I'm speaking, the energy is shifting. And you know what, after lesson 2, I think it's time to have some of the sweet. This isn't something I've thought about. I have to wait to speak. If this is your first episode of Sip and Sweet, then welcome. This is my series where we sit down and talk about things that I've written about in my diary. Because who doesn't love sharing the inside of their diary on the internet? If you haven't already, make sure that you're subscribed in order not to miss the next episode, which hopefully throughout these videos, hopefully I'm gonna have a plan of what the next one's gonna be. I don't know what the next one's gonna be. So if you have any topic recommendations, then please leave them in the comments. I would love to talk about them. I would love to answer your questions. And with that, let's get back to it. I'm not saying it single-handedly helps me get through rejection, especially in the job sector, but it well and truly helps, especially when there's a job that I have felt that I'm really right for, or a job that I have got to the point where I think, oh, I'm gonna get this, and then I don't. Or also when the job offer comes in, but then the job never actually happens. Of course, when we don't get something that we want, especially when we've put a lot of time and effort into the thing, and you have a lot of passion and love for what you're doing, and it's your whole life, and you just care about something so deeply, and you don't get that thing, of course, it is heartbreaking, it's annoying, it's upsetting, it's all of these possible emotions that could be. Of course, it's always important to feel the feelings. Once we've felt the feelings, it's also important to know how we can move through and how we can keep going, because we're not where we want to be. So, something that I tell myself when something hasn't gone my way, we've been rejected, it's, if it's not this, then it's something even better. And then when you've made that shift in your brain, allow yourself to get excited about it, because if the job or the partner or the thing or whatever it is you were really excited for, imagine how excited you're going to be when something even better for you comes. And think, one day I'll be able to look back and go, oh, that makes so much sense why I didn't get that. That makes so much sense why that was a no, because this is a yes and this is for me. If you're like, yes, I resonate, I'm applying this to my life, then make sure you leave a comment with what mindset shift that was below, because I would love to know. This one, we are going to dip the toe in the surface as best we can, but it just be aware it might be more the full foot, but we're going to stay on the shore. I'm just going to have another before we get into this. If you have ever told yourself that the reason that you're not getting where you want to be is because you need to be better, then listen up. This is going to change things for you. I always feel like I need to throw in little disclaimers here and there, because at the same time, there's two sides to every story. Using a personal example, if you want to be a professional dancer but you've never taken a dance class in your life, that's where we start. But I'm talking to the people that have trained and worked hard and done all of these things in any chosen career, any chosen area of life, where you've put so much of your heart and soul into everything that you do, and you've spent so much time, you've made so much sacrifice to get where you are now, and you are questioning whether you're good enough, and you're telling yourself all the time, I just need to be better. When I am better, I will get this. If I'm speaking to you and you've found yourself saying, I just need to be better, I need to be better, take a step back and go, okay, what if instead I could just be more me? Now, as I'm saying that, it sounds a bit like, oh, again, an analogy I used in the last episode sounds a bit live, life, love, poster on the wall. But let me explain. The thing about being the best is very often subjective, especially if you're working in an artistic space. What I think is the best piece of artwork and what you think is the best piece of artwork is going to be completely different, because we're completely different people. In dance competitions, growing up, if you were in that world, the person who comes first isn't necessarily the best person, it's just who the person judging thought was the best for them on that particular day. Give it a different hour, a completely different set of judges, there could be a completely different set of results. And this isn't taking away from people's individual skills and talents. It's just this idea that being the best, it's subjective. What I think is the best and what you think is the best. Even take it when I was talking about the chocolate earlier. Some people might think that dairy milk is the best chocolate in the world. And I'd say you're wrong. It's not about being right or wrong. It's just people have different opinions. And it's very interesting that we just have this drive to be the best when what is the best? Is it the best for somebody else, or is it the best for you? Because we need to find a way to make it the best for ourselves, because the best for you, I'm never going to be able to obtain, because I'm not you. I'll give you another example. even something like Formula One, which side note, if you love Formula One, please let me know, because I'll just leave that there. If you're going to subscribe, suspect me to speak about Formula One a lot. Anyway, back to the narrative. In Formula One, you would think the best driver is the person who drives the fastest, who goes around the track in the fastest time. They are the best. And yet, are they the best, or were they just the fastest on that day? Who I think is the best driver and who you think is the best driver is going to be completely different. Again, change the drivers and put them in all different cars. The person who's the best is going to change. The point that I'm really trying to make here is striving to be the best in somebody else's eyes, is it unattainable? That's more of a question for you, really, than a statement. The more I think about it, the more I'm like, why do we want to be the best? Or do I want to be the best for you, or do I want to be the best for me? I mean, I was going to say as more time goes by, I just want to do what's best for me when I'm looking at where I want to go in life, when I'm looking at opportunities, when I'm looking at jobs, when I'm looking at X, Y, Z. I want to choose the one that's best for me, and I want to show up as the best version of myself that I know that I can be, not the best version of myself for you, but the best version of myself for me, all the things that I would like to do, all the things that I would like to be. But then also when I think back to it, I really remember when I was at school, my parents would say to me, you just have to do your best. And I feel like probably a lot of children were told that. It wasn't about the result that you got, it was about you giving it your best. But somewhere we get taught that you have to be the best in order to succeed. And don't get me wrong, you do have to reach a certain level, especially if you're doing something like an elite sport, performance. Again, I'm using examples that I know. You do have to be a certain level, a certain skill set, a certain level, a certain person, a certain all of these things. Once you are there, which taking from my space of being a performer, there are so many people that are so talented. But because they're not the best, they don't feel like they can get anywhere. And I'm telling you that you don't have to be the best for me. You don't have to be the best for the person next to you. You just have to be the best for you. And just the thought in my head was thinking, oh yeah, but when you're going for a job, you want to be the best for the audition panel. And yeah, there is an element to that, but you don't need me to tell you that the audition space is not just about being the best. It's about many other things. I want to talk you through something, and if this was not by me, my singing teacher a few years ago actually did this with me, and ever since my mind is always blown, and I never use this word in the same way ever again, and I always can catch myself out with it. So let's talk you through. I would like you to close your eyes, and in your mind's eye, visualize a door in front of you. Now, I'd like you to put your hand on the handle and try to open the door, and just sense, feel, see what that looks like for you. Now, new door, visualize a new door. And this time, I would just like you to see yourself just opening the door. Now, reflect back. What one was easier? Was it when you tried to open the door, or was it when you just opened the door? Let me know in the comments what you saw, because maybe it might not work for you. But when I was first told this, I was like, well, of course, when I just open the door, I could just open it straight away. But when I'm trying to open the door, there's a resistance. It's like I'm twisting the handle, but the door's not opening. I'm pulling hard and the door's not opening. And this is what happens when we say, I'm trying to do something. We're already putting a resistance to what we're doing. Whereas if we just say, oh, I do this, we just do it. If we're trying to do something, it's like we're making life harder for ourselves, which I feel like as humans, we love to do. So notice in your life when you're saying, I'm trying to do X, to I do X, And honestly, this shifted so many things for me, and I still now, occasionally I'll say try, and I'm like, no trying, just doing. On to today's bonus point. Now, this isn't so much as a this for a this in a mindset shift, but it's just something for you to take away and think about. If you've never heard any of these things that I'm saying before, then feel free to message me and I could talk about it with your individual scenario, because us humans, we're all different people. This is very individual to you, to me. We're going to talk a little bit about changing the narrative and changing your identity. We are the story that we tell ourselves and the identity that we say we are. For example, I am Olivia. I am a dancer. I am a 26-year-old. I am creative. I live that every single day because I tell myself that is what I am. If I started to tell myself I am someone who is so unlucky, I am so unlucky, I am so unlucky, I'm telling myself that all the time, that is what I'm going to see in my life, because that is the narrative, that is the story that I'm telling myself. A really powerful skill that you can learn to do is learning to tell the narrative in a way that works for you. And this doesn't mean being inauthentic or just making up complete lies. For example, I studied physics and chemistry at school. as if I really struggled with science. Anyway, that's irrelevant. This is talking more about how you look at situations that have happened in the past, or how you perceive things. Because with everything, there's two sides to every story, but there could be many sides to every story, and you get to choose which one works for you. You can see an event that's happened in your life as being the worst thing that has ever happened to you, or you can see it as this really changed everything for me, and now I feel more like myself than ever. We can see it as a positive, we can see it as both. I didn't really want to use this example again because I spoke about this example a lot last episode, but it's easy to talk about, and I feel like a lot of people went through this. But something like COVID, yes, that was horrendous. That was one of the hardest things I have experienced. However, without that happening, I wouldn't be the person that I am today. I might not have met Luke. I might not have found the jobs that I actually want to do, instead of doing the ones that I was told I wanted to do. We talked about that last episode. If you missed it, go check it out. So many things could have been incredibly different. This is quite a deep topic in itself, so maybe we can go into more depth with this another day. But if this is your first ever thing that you've watched about inner work, then welcome. We're in the right place, because I love to talk about it. But just know you can change the story of your life. You can change the story of who you are. And that sounds so simple. It is simple, but also it requires you to go deep. It requires your commitment. It requires you to truly embody the identity that you're wanting to step into, and you're already doing it right now. Thank you so much for being here and watching this week's episode of Sip and Sweet. As I said before, if any of these mindset shifts really resonate with you, if you're like, if that opening the door thing changed your mind, please change your mind, change your life. Please let me know, because I will never forget that day. I will never forget that visualization. Anyway, if you're new here, hello, my name is Olivia. I am a performer, an entrepreneur, a creative, a multifaceted lover of doing many things. So if that's interesting to you, or if you can relate in some way or another, then come and say hi, come and subscribe. At the minute, I'm posting 2 videos every week, one on a Thursday, one on a Sunday. As always, I hope you're having an incredible day wherever you are in the world. I was gonna say, and stay passionate. If you know what videos that's from, then it's time for us to be friends. Anyway, as I was saying, I hope you're having an incredible day, wherever you are in the world, and until next time. I don't really like how I keep doing the P's. Need to think of something to say at the end, like stay passionate. And stay passionate. Do you know what? I would love to be at the end of one of those videos, being the person that says stay passionate. Hopefully one day I can stitch this video with me doing it. Big dreams always. Until next time. Why did I just do that again? I'm gonna go.